Hi you guys, we are back again with another tutorial. Today I'll be showing you guys how to do this Mohawk lace closure quick weave wig. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my lace closure where I want it to lay, and then I will use a T-pin directly in the middle, but do not press it all the way down because it will get caught in the lace. But all I did was use a 4x4 lace closure and cut it in half, and I will link that video in the description box. As always, you're going to begin sewing down in the back, and you're always going to start in the middle, then you're going to work your way all the way around. But try not to place too much tension because you don't want to put any holes in your lace or rip it, because if you pull it too hard you will get a hole or you'll rip the lace where the T-pin is placed. After you are done sewing down your lace closure, you're always going to part throughout the lace closure just so that you can see how flat it's laying down, because you don't want to get all the way to the end and your lace closure has humps and bumps. So all I'm going to do is just put a braid in the lace closure just to kind of keep it out of the way while I lay my tracks down. So I'm going to begin laying down my first track. This dome cap is so helpful. As I begin laying down my tracks for this Mohawk, I always generally put a indication like a glue for a guide so that I can know where to start and stop. But this dome cap comes with two lines going down the middle, which was the perfect guideline for this hairstyle. It made it so much more easier. This dome cap is by Make Your Own Wig, and you can get it out of the beauty supply store. So all you're going to do is use this as your guide to lay down the tracks from side to side, and make sure that when you lay the tracks across the front, you're going to have the tracks going towards the face. And the hair that you'll need for this style is the Tara 246, and I will link in the description box where you can purchase this hair, or you can get it from your local beauty supply store. And the process is repetitive. The same thing you do on one side, you are going to do on the other side. And like I said, because this cap has those two lines going down the middle, it makes it so much more easier for you to lay down the tracks. There's not a particular order that I go by whenever I'm laying down the tracks for a style like this. I just pretty much kind of go by how the tracks are laying and how much space that I have, because sometimes the same way you lay it on one side, you may not lay it on the other. But I try to be as symmetrical as possible, but I also know that at the end of the day, it's not going to be perfect, but I do try to make sure that it's symmetrical on each side. After you are done laying down your tracks, it should look very similar to this. Like I said, with this cap, it helps everything to look even and symmetrical on each side. And I like to shave it down before I lay down the middle. And of course, I am using my single blade razor comb with the guard off. Like I always tell you guys, if you aren't too experienced doing this, do not do this on a client. Always practice on a mannequin first, because you can do some damage if you do not know what you're doing. But just to be safe, keep your guard on. I use the guard off because it helps me to be able to get a closer cut. And if you have already been using a single blade razor comb or either the double blade razor comb, you know that the blades does not last long. But whenever you take that guard off, you maximize the usage out of each blade. Right now I'm going to add a little bit of color in the back as a peekaboo, and this is the Adore and this is the color Emerald, and you can find it at any of your local beauty supply stores. All I did was I used a 613 piece of track, and I just did the water method for this because it's quicker, easier, and I love the water method because it really saturates and color the hair evenly. Adding the color is optional. You don't have to do this, but you can use any type of highlights that you want, distribute the color however you want. I just did a couple layers of color in the back because I don't want to do too much. I just want it to be slight but give it a edgy feel. So now I'm going to go in with my 6-inch, and this is the longest length out of the Tara 246, and I always try to save the longest length for the middle, but also if you want to, you can use any type of longer inch hair. You're not really confined to using what's in the box. It's completely up to you. This is just giving you a base foundation of how to do the style, but you can even go as far as using like a 10-inch, 12-inch, whatever type of length you want, layer it, curl it, however you want to, but this is just a guide to kind of show you how you would lay your tracks. Now that you're done laying down all of your tracks, you're going to make your parting in the top of the closure and make sure that you leave enough hair so that you can cover around the tracks. Now you're going to cut the hair even because the 6-inch tracks is longer, so you want the sides to be very flat. So you're going to use your razor to trim it down and even everything up on both sides. So I'm going to be using my thinning shears to cut the ends of the lace closure because the hair is longer than the 6-inch. I just want to have it tapered so that it blends very easy with the rest of the hair. And I'll be using my Aunt Jackie's Frizz Patrol to lay down and mold the lace closure, and you do have to do this to kill the frizz because you don't want that hair to be sticking up, but this is going to help mold that hair down in place. After you take your mannequin out from underneath the dryer, you're going to comb it out and begin loosening it up. And you can use some oil Sheen or some type of light serum to loosen this up. But always when you put your foam wrap lotion on, don't put on too much product because with the Aunt Jackie's in particular, it is very, very thick and saturated. So you want to use just a little bit, or you can dilute it. But the Sheen that I'm using is the Design Essentials Diamonds Oil Sheen. Now I'm going to go in with my hot comb and I'm going to go ahead and begin smoothing everything out so that it all blends together. And you can use a wax stick as well. I didn't use one on this one because I didn't want to make it look heavy. I just wanted it to kind of have like a natural flow, because sometimes when you start adding products, it adds weight to the hair. So I'm going to use my thinning shears to go in and thin it out and give it somewhat of a natural feathered look. I like to use the Tara straight out of the box sometimes, but for this particular look, I kind of want to thin it out just a little bit and make it more soft. Now I'm going to begin sectioning out the hair so that I can begin curling it. And I love to use crop clips because they get everything out of the way. It has a good grip on the hair. So I'm going to be using my 1.5-inch curling iron. And of course, like I tell you guys, I got this out of my local beauty supply store. If I happen to find it online, I will link it for you guys, but again, I get it out of the local beauty supply store. I haven't even seen it online anywhere, but I love these irons because they get very, very hot. And even though I have a lot of expensive irons, these by far are my favorite, and I only paid, I think it's like $30. They're cheap, but they are very good quality. So you're going to use your iron to kind of feather the hair, give it a little bump. You don't want it to be curled too hard. Don't put too much of a bend to it, but I like to use a curling iron because it keeps the bump consistent. Sometimes when you use a flat iron to do this, you know, your wrist and the way that you do it, it may not be the exact same, but when you're using these curlers, your curls are always going to come out even, and it's going to be consistent. And I'm going to be using my Stella Pro mini irons to flatten out the sides. I almost wanted to do a taper on this, but I kind of changed my mind at the last minute. I wanted to keep it a little bit edgy, sassy, cute all at the same time. I didn't want it to be too uniform. So I'm going to kind of stretch it out with my curling irons. And I'm going to be curling my last curl here in the top. Also be careful, because if you clip it, you may get a line where the curling irons start where you first clip it. So just kind of be careful with that as well. Just kind of do it very, very lightly so that you don't have to worry about getting that line of demarcation. So I'm doing a little last minute texturizing to the hair just to kind of soften it up a little bit more. You can use any kind of thinning shears, but I do sell these shears on my official website at www.feliciaslater.com, and I do sell this by the set. So if you would like a pair, you can go to my website and purchase yours today. So yeah, just go ahead and put the finishing touches on this. I love how the color came out. Overall, I really enjoyed doing this. This is by far one of the easiest hairstyles that I've ever done because it's so simple. Like I said, with the cap that you're using, it's going to make it so much more easier whenever you are going in to make this wig. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut the dome cap from underneath the lace. Please be careful when you are doing this because you can easily cut a hole in your lace. If you do, you have created a huge problem that you probably cannot fix. So make sure that you take your time and do this, and also do not cut too close to the threads because that can also rip your lace as well. So just kind of leave a little bit of the dome cap on there because you're only just going to be exposing the middle of the part whenever you put it on. And this is the finishing product. It was a perfect fit. It fit just like a glove because I know my head shape. And for anyone who want this unit, I do require that you come in and have this unit made directly on your head. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.